Push play.
Welcome back to another episode of the
Push
Genus
play.
Brewing Channel. Yeah, I pressed play already.
Oh, okay. All
Why are you taking so long?
right.
Welcome back to another $2 Tuesday. That is every single Saturday we will be releasing a beer for $2. It'll be a brand new beer every single Saturday.
I've been drinking a few already.
So don't forget, $2 Tuesday every single Saturday from now on.
Boom! And what do we have for this week's $2 Saturday?
$2 Tuesday.
$2 Tuesday.
Yeah, so every Saturday we have $2 Tuesday.
Every Saturday we have $2 Tuesday.
How is that? Why do you not get that?
Totally makes sense. Totally makes sense.
This week we are releasing a very wild Saison that we did.
Mixed. Well, not
Mixed.
mixed fermentation, but multiple yeast strains we're going to be talking about too.
Yeah.
With it, so.
We added Imperial's Rustic. That's the most dominant strain we have in this. But then we also used the Belgian Saison strain and some Ardennes.
I didn't. Yeah.
So, anyways, and while we're tasting, we'll talk a little bit about why we saisoned. That's really good. So first of all, there's a lot of phenolic character to this.
But also a lot of esters. So.
A decent amount of esters as well. I would say more on. I mean, you got the clove. Obviously, clove is a phenol. You've got a little bit of like black pepper notes going on. That's a phenol, and then just a touch of that kind of like that ripe fruit or almost banana-y quality.
Bubblegummy.
A little bit of bubblegummy.
A little bit of that in there. Hops. Even though we put a lot of hops in this recipe, actually, down below, not super prevalent in the beer. Lots of noble hops, low alpha hops.
Yeah.
Nothing to really,
Wag a finger at.
all of those just add very neutral, kind of balancing bitterness to the beer. That's about it.
Kapah!
Whoa!
I don't know. You just seem like you need
Yeah.
some jazz.
Oh, sorry. I gotta jazz it up. Jazz it up. Jazz it up.
Little darling.
Oh, God.
Now we're falling. Anyways, so one of the reasons that we wanted to do a Saison in this time, this was like 3 weeks ago now. 4 weeks ago? It's been a while, actually.
Yeah, it's been 3 weeks now, I think. A little over 3 and a half.
So one of the reasons we wanted to do a Saison is because it is getting really warm in the back, and we wanted to start using strains that required us to use less of our ability to control temperature.
Yeah, that was actually before I hooked up the glycol that's in that video over there.
Yeah, left.
And so, yeah, we just let that free rise, didn't we?
Yeah.
And it got up to, was it 85?
That was the high point, yeah. So we pitched in at right around 72-ish, 70 to 72. So
Which is about the ambient back there right now. So.
Yeah, and then we just kind of let it do its thing, and that's why Saisons are so good, because they really push forward a lot of awesome flavors as they free rise by themselves. And then another fact about the Saison yeasts, a lot of them, if you start building up your own culture, successive pitches of that Saison yeast will be able to tolerate and do well at even higher temperatures. Really healthy pitches that you grow will do really well in those higher temperatures, and so really good for like Solera-ing too. If you have a warm location, you want to use a Saison base for some of that.
Yeah, they definitely tend to go really well with microbial strains or Brettanomyces strains that are going to sour beer.
Yeah.
Just because of the strong yeast characteristic that tends to hang on more so than other flavors, especially hop flavors.
Absolutely. So yeah, this beer is tasting super phenolic. You get a lot of the spicy notes that come off of the phenols that can be produced at those higher temperatures. You get, like you already said, the esters and fruitiness that can come off of those high temperatures and the multiple yeast strains that we used.
In a nutshell, very yeast-dominated beer. Really not a lot else going on, which is okay in a Saison or a farm. I would really call this almost a farmhouse because...
Yeah, it's definitely in that range.
We also did... Yeah, we pitched the Rustic from Imperial, right?
Yeah, Rustic.
And I think that's the dominating strain, but we also had some somewhat older packets of yeast from...
Lambic blend. We had an older packet of the Lambic blend that we had.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. So this could potentially keep going for a while if we let it go.
It's tasting phenomenal right now, so that's why we're releasing it.
And Peter lost his train of thought, so we're going to pick up on this. Tasting good right now could actually evolve even more over time, especially if you bottle condition.
Oh, yeah.
Saisons tend to really benefit from bottle conditioning just because they let that yeast just kind of do its thing. You can still do it, unfiltered in a keg.
Yeah.
Same thing as bottle conditioning for all intents and purposes.
Because it'll keep, as certain longer chain starches break down into like maltose and certain, the yeast will be able to pick up on that, and they'll be able to ferment those, and it's another secondary, tertiary, whatever layer of fermentation that goes on that keeps evolving the beer, and they'll do that even without priming sugar. So.
Yep. One thing I do notice about the Saison, the Farmhouse style, which this beer really falls solidly into, is that they do tend to really benefit from a sort of bottle aging or keg conditioning process. Just letting them sit around, even at room temperature, cool room temperature, not 80, but if you've got 65 degree temperatures or even cellar temperatures for 2, 3, 5 months, these beers really evolve into something very, very tasty.
So what we'll probably do with this is we'll actually we'll put the one beer on tap that we're going to be doing this Saturday. If we release this Friday, which we probably will, it'll be tomorrow. We'll put that one keg on. We'll do the $2 Tuesday until that blows, and then we'll save the rest of the kegs and just kind of hold on to them and see what they do. Let them evolve naturally, and it'll be a fun thing to put back on in a couple months and say, this is where that beer is now, Yep.
Which is also why it's very difficult for commercial breweries to actually do proper Saisons, proper Belgian-style beers, because pretty much that gamut
they have no control,
beer, well, it's all about turning over, right?
Well, but with distribution, they have no control of how long it's going to be. And a lot of times,
as well,
they do want to do the turnover really fast. But, I mean, unless it's a small batch and they are controlling the situation in the brewery, they have no idea what the aging is going to be like for any of those beers. And they can't, once they do release and they're like, this beer is ready, it's hard for them to say, if they're distributing at all, how long that beer is going to sit in whatever conditions.
Otherwise, drink local from people that know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah, and have fun experimenting. Like these Saisons are super fun styles, especially in the summer, because while you have that sweaty closet that you normally ferment.
Okay, hopefully not too sweaty.
Not sweaty.
Not like Peter's van sweaty.
Yeah, sweaty isn't. If you sat in there, you would be sweaty. That warm closet that you ferment in 9 months out of the year, but in the summer months it just gets too hot, or whatever room. Saisons are a perfect opportunity to do that and build up a couple Saisons. So do one Saison, rack off that Saison, and then put another Saison right on top of the yeast, and then just let that yeast develop and keep growing and doing some awesome work for you.
And please put a blow-off tube on them, too, because otherwise
especially on the second one.
Otherwise you're going to be scrubbing your closet down.
Yeah, for sure. With that 80, you're getting up to 85 for sure. All right, that's about it. Yeah, we just wanted to talk to you. Oh, this is an extract recipe.
This is an extract recipe, yes.
So that's a fun thing to talk about every once in a while when we want to get a beer out and we have certain conditions or certain yeasts that we want to do to eliminate variables and kind of make our workday easier. We'll just do extract recipes. So this one is a super simple, you'll see it in the description below, but it's just a simple amalgam of extracts and then a little bit of acid malt. Honestly, the extracts...
A little bit of dextrose, too.
Yeah, dextrose to help the dryness, because...
You guys have... Before, if you've watched our videos, you know we use a little dextrose when we do extract. So
yeah, because extract, that 75% fermentability is a little bit too sweet for us.
Yeah, and stuff.
But
did you mention the acid malt too?
I was about to. Yeah, the acid malt that we added.
So we did do also 2 pounds of acid malt. Those are what you would call our steeping grains for this, which is actually pretty moderate, and we just like to do that for water adjustment, more or less, around here.
Yeah.
Tends to soften the profile of our beer because we don't like every beer to be super, super calcium minerally, which is kind of what water in the Northwest is, which makes, for the most part, good IPAs, but not much of anything else.
Pretty much. And then also, some of the extra acidity going into the fermentation will actually, it'll adjust how the yeast process the beer as well. So hopefully the idea is to be able to push forward some of the phenols and esters and stuff. So
we definitely did. The beer, to me, farmhouse ale through and through. That's what I would call this flavor profile wise. It's not quite as dry as like a classic French Saison might be, or a lot of Saisons that people put out.
Right.
It does still have some body, some sweetness left in it, but just a lot of yeast character going on in all the good ways. Like Peter mentioned before, got the phenols, got some of that bubble gumminess coming through. Just a very complex palate that works very well together.
Yeah, and Saisons are all about how the yeast ferment. And so basically you can toss away the vast majority of your recipes if you're thinking like I got to do this and this and this to make my exact recipe on it. Saison's all about how the yeast process it. That's what builds all those phenomenal flavors, and that's what we have here.
Yeah, and I think that mix of yeast really also added to this. While, like we mentioned before, rustic's probably dominating. The Ardennes might give it a little bit more of that bubble gumminess.
Yeah, more sweetness too, like the fruity sweetness as well.
Yep, the fruity sweetness, and then also the Belgian Saison is a classic strain for doing the bubblegum flavor, and also a strain notorious for stalling out, which is why it's always great if you ever use a Belgian Saison strain specifically to either co-pitch it or follow it up with some other high attenuating strain.
Stronger yeast strain.
Because that yeast is almost always, even at 85, going to stall at 10-20 for you, and you're like, why? I'd never done that before anyway.
It's a lazy strain.
All right. Is that it?
That's it. All right, let's close this out. Boom! Thanks for watching.
Genus Brewing.
And you should do some things such as like this video, thumbs uppies, comment below. Let us know what you'd like to see in the future. Let Logan know what kind of beer you want him to see. You want to see him keg stand on for our 5,000 subscriber party.
Ooh, yeah, definitely comment on that. Otherwise, enjoy the close-up of my beautiful face that is cleanly cut and done stuff too.
And we'll see you next time on Genus Brewing.
Chink!
Bunch of damn drunks.
Perfect timing.